cook at mga servants kasunod. So ikaw ang hapon kaya ay strengthful and boldness to conviction, Lord, sa iyong heart as this, Lord, you share to us your word. Father, we pray that you will empower them also with your Holy Spirit. And as we receive your word, Lord, we pray that you will open also our hearts to you. Give us wisdom, Lord, and understanding. Help us also to apply it in our everyday lives. And we will still so pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor DR. Salamat po, Sister Candice, sa pagbasa sa Estonado. Itong Sunday, atong i-discuss about ninyo ang mahitungod sa bad decision. Pinasi sa story ni Lot. Si Lot, mihimo o usa ka bad decision na naka-epekto sa iyang kinabuhi o sa iyang family. We are facing daily with different people and circumstances that requires us to make choices and decisions every step of the way. Aron sa paglikay sa kalibog o confusion, every Christian should identify a bad decision. We can identify a bad decision by knowing its two aspects. And what are these aspects? These two are its characteristics and its consequences. We were already done studying with these characteristics last Sunday, if you still remember. I will discuss with you the consequences today. Now, what are the consequences of a bad decision? To specify, let us review the characteristics of Lot's decision and then know their corresponding consequences. First decision, Lot based his decision on personal interest only. At tanawa lang sa inyong left side, sa inyong bulletin, diyan review. Genesis 13 verse 10. And why do we say that Lot based his decision on personal interest only? It is because when he was given the privilege to choose which the land he would occupy, he failed to consider his relative Abraham in return to the favor given. He took all the best of the land, white kaloy, and left Abraham that which seemed worthless, the rocky place. He was thinking of his personal interest only. He became selfish and valued wealth over people. Chapter 13 verse 11 says, Lot chose for himself. Now, what would be the consequence if we value wealth over people? Kung sa may mga linugdanan o muhatag kita og dakong bili sa mahandi kay sa tao sa atong igsuon sa ulod o sa atong igsuon diha sa Ginoo, acquired wealth will soon be lost. Genesis 19 verse 15 says, with the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, hurry, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus, He overthrew those cities and the entire plain, including all those living in the cities and also the vegetation in the land. punished the two cities, Sodom and Gomorrah. And why? Because the people there were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord, according to Genesis 13, verse 13. And the good thing was, Lot, together with his wife and two daughters, were spared because of the prayer of Abraham in chapter 18. Lot lost everything he had been working for. His house, his lot, his wealth. Iyang mga bahandi. All were destroyed in an instant. Only the clothes he wore were left. Tapos lawas na lamang sila bigawas sa Sodom. If you will read verse 30, they were later on living in the cave. Anang mga drug lord sa atong nasod nga negosyo, Shabu, ilang yung ayuhan ang ilang yuna-una. Ang ana sa ilang utok, mahala na og mga maturiring tanan. Basta pagkwarta lang ni. Pero tanawa karon, God is slowly putting an end to the wrongdoings. It means He is not pleased. Our God is not pleased. Now, what lessons do we learn from this consequence? Wealth is not forever. It is just temporary. Temporaryo lamang ka na. When we think only of our own interest and become selfish, God will put that an end. Importante ang relasyon nato sa usa-usa kaysa atong kaptangan o sa atong negosyo. Because Lot's decision was based on personal interest only, he failed not only to consider his relative Abraham, but also to consider the future influence of his family. Chapter 13, verse 10 says, as he, Lot, looked at the whole plain of Jordan, economic prosperity was his only concern. He failed into account the moral and the spiritual values of the inhabitants there that would someday influence his family. Napakya si Lot sa pagkuna-kuna sa umaabot nga mo influensya sa iyang family. As I have said earlier, in God's sight, in chapter 13, verse 13, the men in Sodom were wicked and sinning greatly against the Lord. What would be the consequence if in our decisions we fail to consider our family? Our loved ones will be lost. Genesis 19, verse 15 says, with the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, hurry, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished. The phrase, your two daughters who are here, in verse 15, implies that Lot had other daughters who were probably married and lived at their own houses in Sodom. So, only the daughters who were with him at this time were rescued by the angels. The rest died in Sodom, and he lost his wife as well. Now, if you look at the verses 24 to 25 in the PowerPoint, God has sent His punishment to Sodom at this time. Now, let's read verse 17b to compare it with verse 26. Verse 17b says, flee for your lives, don't look back. Verse 26 says, but Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. In verse 17, the angels rescued them. They were instructed not to look back, but Lot's wife did not obey. The phrase look back in Hebrew does not mean a passing glance, but an intense gaze. Dili dalikat ang tanaw kung dili itutukan og maayo. Sama sa asawa ni Potiphar sa pagtutok niya kung Joseph, siga yang mata. Now let's compare verse 26 with Luke 17, verse 30 through 32. Luke 17:30 says, "It will be just like this on the day the Son of Man is revealed. On that day, no one who is on the roof of his house with his goods inside should go down to get them. Likewise, no one in the field should go back for anything. Remember Lot's wife." If you will read the context of verse 17 and 22, Jesus was the one who cited Lot's wife to his disciples. These verses reveal that Jesus knew that she was looking back because in her heart there was a desire to go back and rescue something. This implies that she had been attached and had been longing for the worldly things she once possessed in Sodom. Nasayang siya sa mga butang at anhi iyang nahutan sa Sodoma. Nindot nga balay, high-tech nga mga kabtangan. Gipalabi niya ang iyang kawili sa mga butang kaysa pagtuman sa mandok sa Diyos pinaagi sa anghel. As a result of her disobedience, in verse 26 says, she became a pillar of salt. She was struck to death, stood fixed and erect like a monument, not liable to waste or decay. Now, kining asin, ano na ini gigamit sa scripture o sa Biblia as an emblem of incorruption and durability. So the pillar of salt rendered her a lasting monument of the fatal effects of a too deeply rooted affection for worldly attractions and a willful disobedience to the divine instructions. Ang haliging asin naghatag o malahutayong monumento nga magpahinumdom unsa kanilngig ang epekto kung ang imong pagbati laom nga nakadamot sa kalibutanong mga pangibog o nga ikaw magahigong isupa sa langit ng Sodom. Lot's decision to stay in Sodom caused his wife to be influenced by the love of worldly things. What do we learn from this situation? In making decisions, we should always consider the advantage our choices can give to our loved ones. Atong konsiderahan ang atong mga mahal sa kinabuhi. Atong timbang-timbangon makaayo ba kini sa atong mga minahal sa kinabuhi o makadabot pa kini kanila. We might not lose our children physically, but we might lose them spiritually. In the life of Lot's wife, we can learn that God will show us His mercy as well as His severity. God's mercy was shown when Lot's wife was delivered out of Sodom. Nadayat ang iyang kaluoy diha. At in the midst of that great privilege, she also experienced God's severity when she willfully disobeyed His command. Dili kita magsalig nga kita luwas. Kaduna tay eternal life, nga dili kita pa-impierno. Tinuot man nga dili kita pa-impierno. Pero dili kini garantiya na kita dili na makatagamtam sa pagka-istrikto sa Diyos. Ang Diyos mo kastigo ngayon kung atong tuyuon ang pagsupa sa iyang sulti diha sa Biblia. Dili siya malipay kung kita mahigugma sa kalibutanong mga butang. Labaw ay kaniya. Kinahanglan ang Diyos ipapaw yun na sa bisan unsa natong mga giginahan. Second decision, Lot Lot based his decision on worldly fame at the expense of his spiritual life. Lot became the chief magistrate in Sodom. He became a leader in the city, given over to moral perversion. The fact that Lot had worked his way up to become one of Sodom's leading citizens indicates that he was no longer a threat to their immoral way of life. You do not get honored in Sodom unless you have decided to be quiet about your faith. This implies his silence. Nagpakailog lang siya. And what would be the consequence if we will be quiet with our faith? First consequence of being quiet, we will suffer. Diba? Mag-antos. 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 7 says, and if he, God, rescued Lot, a righteous man who was distressed by the filthy lives of lawless men, verse 8, that righteous man living among them day after day was tormented in his righteous soul by the lawless deeds he saw and heard. What kind of suffering Lot had at this time? Verse 8 says, day after day, Lot was distressed and tormented upon seeing and hearing all the vile ways of the people in Sodom. And you imagine the day-to-day pain and the day-to-day torture. Wakot siya mubuhat sama sa ilang ipanguhat nga dautan, nga di ginulapway din ni Peter nga siya righteous. Apan adlaw-adlaw nagdugog sa kasakit ang kasing-kasing ni Lot na nagsulpong sa mga mangilad na buhat sa mga tao sa sulod. Nag-anto siya sunod sa iyang kasing-kasing ang kapugat, dili lang sa usa ka adlaw kundi adlaw-adlaw. Ay kung musulti siya sa iyang pagtuo kanila nga ang Dios wala malipay sa ilang binuhatan, sigurado gyud nga mapapas siya sa iyang trabaho as magistrate.